The new Ends With Us movie just hit theaters last week, and I think it's safe to ask, what the hell is going on with this movie? We all know Blake Lively. She's one half of the Hollywood sweetheart couple that we've all come to know and love. Their back and forth jokes, pranks, no drama. And yeah, we've always just assumed that she was this seemingly happy, talented, great person. Or was she Hollywood's biggest Karen all along?
And my hair care company, Blake Brown, my goodness gracious.
Grab your friends, wear your florals.
Congrats on your little bump.
Well, we're gonna play a little Karen hangman in this video, okay? Start the drawing. For every time Blake acts like a Karen, we'll add a letter. Just for funsies, you know? So, I feel like we've all seen by now the unending drama, which again is new for Blake, surrounding this new movie, It Ends With Us, starring Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. The movie is based on the 2016 novel by Colleen Hoover and centered around the topic of domestic violence, which is obviously a heavy topic, but Blake has been out there making it seem like it's just a fun little movie to go out and watch with your girlfriends.
Grab your friends, wear your florals.
Like, is she okay? It's concerning. But it's not just that. No. There's truly so much going on in the situation. Justin hired a crisis PR manager to protect his image after Blake started coming out with statements about how he made her uncomfortable. Blake used the press tour to promote her own company and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, and his new movie, Deadpool and Wolverine. And let me just reiterate that. She used the press tour for a movie about domestic violence to promote herself and her husband's movie. What is happening, Blake? The story just keeps unfolding in front of our eyes and it is truly such a mess. But if you're watching this right now and you somehow haven't seen all that is going on, let's briefly break down what happened. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni are the lead actors in this film. Not only that, Blake is also the producer of the film and Justin is the director. Now, the two of them have this like silent feud going on right now, although it is very loud on the internet, which seems to have first started when Blake came out with a statement saying that she felt uncomfortable with Justin multiple times on set and felt as though Justin was fat shaming her postpartum body by being concerned about her weight. And according to the statement, there was a scene in the movie where Justin lifts Blake into the air, and because he has a history of back problems, he asked his on-set trainer how much he weighed and how he could train to protect his back from further injury. So when the first part of this statement came out, people were kind of confused, like why Blake was even upset about this, saying things like, girl, this is nothing, I hope he sues her, girl, that's it, Blake being dramatic for what? That's a valid question to ask if you have back problems. It's not fat shaming, directly or indirectly. He didn't go to her, he went to a trainer, so certain safety precautions were taken for his pre-existing injury, and so he wouldn't drop her or hurt her. These Hollywood elites are on one this year. Then, the other part of the statement revealed that Blake was also uncomfortable during a certain kissing scene between her and Justin, where he apparently lingered longer than he should have with the kiss, which also kind of seems like a silly thing to be upset about, but I mean, none of us were there. We can't say her feelings are not valid. But there were also clips floating around showing that the kissing scene was actually heavily directed by Blake herself, so this does seem like a little bit of a reach. And basically at this point, many people are siding with Justin. Although, fans started pointing out that he might actually be the problem, because apparently none of the cast of this movie is following him on Instagram, including Blake, including Colleen Hoover, the original writer of the book this movie is based off of, and who, by the way, he contacted to get the rights for this movie, not Blake, which is kind of an important point to take note of. One person commented saying this on top of the fact that no one in the cast is taking pictures with nor tagging him in any promo is very suspicious. Like, huh? Which is a valid point. So it's like maybe there's something else going on that we don't know about amongst all this press tour drama. But it is strange that Blake and Justin have been promoting the film completely separately. They literally did zero press together for this movie, which from what I understand is not normal at all for two lead actors of a movie, especially when they're also the producer and the director. So we've seen photos and clips of Blake and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, on the red carpet together for the premiere of It Ends With Us. There's even one of the two of them with Hugh Jackman, who is not part of this movie, but is obviously a big part of the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie. Yet for some reason, Justin Baldoni, lead actor and director of this movie that they're there to promote, is nowhere to be seen. Well, at least not with them. He's really only been pictured alone or with his wife, which is questionable. And when you look at the differences in how the two of them have been promoting the movie separately, I feel like the truth kind of speaks for itself.
What comes to mind isn't so much about the work that went into it, but about the why behind it. If a Lily Bloom in real life can sit in this theater and maybe make a different choice for herself than was made for her, maybe she sees herself on that screen and chooses something different for herself, that's why I made the movie.
What's your childhood dream?
To wear Britney Spears' Versace dress.
So obviously Justin has taken the gentle, more respectful approach. He seems to understand the sensitivity and the heaviness surrounding the topic of this movie, while Blake is more concerned with the dress she's wearing and her hair care brand.
And my hair care company, Blake Brown, my goodness gracious.
Which, by the way, she has taken every opportunity to promote alongside the movie, which is an interesting strategy. It's kind of Karen-y, right? I feel like she deserves a letter for that. But out of all the promotion clips we've seen, I feel like this one was especially interesting.
It Ends With Us is in theaters now, so grab your friends, wear your florals, and head out to see it.
Yeah. Blake Lively really did say, grab your friends, grab your florals to see a movie about domestic abuse. It is giving tone deaf. I think the fact that Justin seems to be taking all this much more seriously just makes Blake look even worse for all of this. But clearly this drama started long before the press tour, because apparently Blake and Justin actually had many creative struggles on set for this movie. According to an inside source via US Weekly, there were two camps on film, Team Blake and Team Justin. The creative struggle set the tone for the negative experience behind the scenes and grew into them not speaking anymore, hence why they haven't been seen anywhere near each other. Maybe. Although I will say this article did come out on August 15th, which was after Justin hired a crisis PR manager. Well-known crisis PR manager, Melissa Nathan, in fact, the same crisis PR manager who worked with Johnny Depp on the Amber Heard trial. And so the plot thickens. People were very upset when this news came out and started pushing negativity towards Justin. But to be fair, Johnny Depp won the case against Amber Heard back in 2022. So I personally don't really know if this is relevant or something worth being concerned about. I mean, obviously he wants to protect his image, especially if Blake is coming out and making statements about him. And honestly, Blake should probably do the same for her own sake, because her own personal PR strategy doesn't seem to be working all that well. But now we're at an interesting fork in the road, because some people think that Justin is the problem, especially after he hired this crisis PR manager. Some people think that looks kind of suspicious on his part. One person even said, him hiring a PR crisis manager tells me more is about to come out and he's getting ahead of it. Another person said, smells like deflection, sorry, not buying it. But then other people think that Blake is essentially being an entitled Hollywood princess who used her power, being married to Ryan Reynolds, who obviously has major ties to Hollywood, to overstep Justin in a lot of ways for her own benefit, even though Justin was the director of this movie. But when it comes to the creative differences these two apparently had, an inside source also explained that Justin was made to feel that his vision wasn't as important as Blake's, and it stifled the creativity on set. And then a second source mentioned that any changes or input by Blake was to create the best film possible and to honor the book. Although I feel like when we see old interview clips like this one that recently came out.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
Which we'll talk about more in a minute. It's pretty clear to see how some of Blake's behavior could be taken as disrespectful and unfair. Now, someone also mentioned that they read on another site that she hired her own crew to edit the film to her liking and attempted to get the powers that be to release her cut in theaters rather than the directors. If even a word of that is true, she should be sued. So of course, I immediately looked into this, and it's actually even worse than what this person is saying. Allegedly, of course. According to this article from The Hollywood Reporter, sources have told us that there was a fracture between Baldoni and Lively in the post-production stage, wherein two different cuts of the movie emerged. Lively commissioned a cut of the movie from editor Shane Reed, who was an editor on Deadpool and Wolverine, hint hint, according to multiple sources. It was unclear if any of this cut was ultimately used in the final project, which was credited to editors Una Flaherty and Rob Sullivan. So obviously the part that makes this all worse is the direct tie between this movie with Blake and Deadpool and Wolverine with Ryan Reynolds, her husband, and the connection between the editor. Like, it does seem slightly unfair to Justin. Blake even said in an interview after this was all said and done that Ryan actually wrote the rooftop scene in the movie, which I don't know if people on set of the movie realized at the time. That's kind of unclear. And she also said that he works on everything she does, she works on everything he does, and his wins are her wins and vice versa. You get the point. So it's very clear that Blake had some advantages over Justin, which could definitely be seen as overstepping, in my opinion. Now, someone on Twitter did bring up a fair point, which is, at the time of filming It Ends With Us, Blake had just given birth to her fourth child and has spent the last decade of her life largely being a mom and supporting her husband and friends. I think this movie means a lot to her, and I think that she very much wants it to be a huge hit. Nothing wrong with that. I totally get it. She's more than just a wife and a mom. She is an actress. She's a producer. This movie is a reflection of that. But again, I feel like when we see clips like this one that we briefly played earlier.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
Or this one.
People who see this movie, who relate to the topics of this movie, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it?
Like asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share. Or I could just location share you and then we could
She's displaying this incredibly rude and petty behavior that definitely adds to the whole entitlement narrative that Blake has going for herself here. I mean, especially in that first interview clip where she throws the comment back at the interviewer in the most offensive way possible and then proceeds to basically ignore her for the remainder of the interview. I mean, just saying, to some people, that is considered a Karen. Thankfully though, most people were siding with the interviewer on this. One person said, "I feel so sorry for this interviewer." Another person said they were so proud of themselves pulling a mean girl session on this poor interviewer while she is trying to do her job. One person even brought Taylor Swift into this, saying, "Guys, she's one of Taylor Swift's best friends. Of course, she lives on a different planet than the rest of us. She just shouldn't do interviews because she's so unrelatable and out of touch with the average person, so she comes off as a snob." Honestly, I don't know if we can even give her that much credit. Because I feel like at any level of fame or success, you should still be able to treat another human being with basic respect. Like, this interviewer is literally doing her job. And sure, maybe she could have congratulated her on her pregnancy in a slightly different way, but the comment itself wasn't ill-intended. It seemed like Blake just took what was meant to be a nice little icebreaker comment as an extreme insult for whatever reason and used it as an opportunity to show her mean girl Karen side. I honestly feel the most like this person. They said, "The F am I watching? Why is Parker's body language so rude and excluding? Why are they so offended by completely normal statements and questions? Why are they being so passive aggressive? What a hot mess this is." Truly just such a mess. Couldn't have said it better. On top of all this nonsense, Blake has also been in charge of a lot of the marketing for this movie, and many of their promotional posts seem to be centered around the importance of female friendships, basically avoiding the topic of domestic violence altogether.
welcome to my apartment. We are all in the movie It Ends With Us. How compatible are our zodiac signs? I'm a Virgo. What are you?
I'm a Libra.
Sagittarius.
Ooh, yeah.
So again, contrary to Justin, people have found that Blake is just not taking the subject matter of this film seriously. But good thing we have this.
It Ends With Us is in theaters now, so grab your friends, wear your florals, and head out to see it.
I don't know. I feel like this whole press tour has become such a disaster. Blake did attempt to smooth things over after all this came out by making a statement on her Instagram story, posting a link to resources and statistics surrounding domestic violence, but people knew she was basically just trying to save herself from being the victim of any more bad press. And even though neither Blake or Justin have addressed any of this feud, Justin did mention in an interview when asked if he would ever direct in a sequel to It Ends With Us.
We do have It Starts With Us, so I'm hoping to see you back in the double duty role.
I think there are better people for that one.
Justin.
I think Blake Lively's ready to direct. That's what I think.
Which seems like maybe it could be a subtle dig at Blake, maybe a subtle way of saying not a chance we work on the same set together ever again, but who knows? I ultimately just feel like this could easily be one of the most disastrous press tours of all time. I'm not sure, but honestly, they'll probably sell more tickets this way. And it's kind of funny because people were speculating that they were trying to have like a Barbie Oppenheimer moment when those two were battling at the box office at the same time, and they actually kind of are. The two movies, It Ends With Us and Deadpool and Wolverine, are currently battling each other at the box office, and last time I checked, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds had the two biggest movies in the world. So I guess despite all the bad press, it's still a major success. And I lost track of how many letters we got on the Karen Hangman. But I would love to know what you guys think about all of this. Do you think Justin is in the wrong with a lot of this? Do you think this is all being blown out of proportion? It's all just rumors? And do you think Blake is a Karen? Definitely leave a comment and let us know your thoughts. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more videos. And I will see you in the next one.
What is it like to... And my hair care company, Blake Brown, my goodness gracious. It's been a crazy week. I haven't slept in like a lot of time.